Hello everyone and welcome to a special edition of Gamecocks at the Movies. I'm Cody Guest.
I'm Ben Parsons.
The latest craze in the movie industry today is superhero movies, specifically speaking, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Going back to 2008 and the first Iron Man movie, Marvel keeps producing hit after hit after hit after hit. And their next movies hits theaters on November 4th in the form of Doctor Strange. And what we've seen in the promotional material and the trailers for this movie so far, it looks to be the most out there, trippiest, dare I say, strangest Marvel movie so far. And let's just admit right off the bat, Ben, superhero movies are just weird. They're awesome, but they're weird.
Exactly.
So in honor of the release of Doctor Strange, myself and Ben will be taking a look at the top 5 strangest Marvel Cinematic Universe characters.
Starting at number 5, we have Captain America. Now, Cap is not your traditional strange character, but if you start thinking in depth about his characteristics, it is kind of weird. I mean, that man was pumped full of steroids, and he was he was at first weak, and he was a weakling, and then he gets steroids, he gets put in that box. We don't really know what happens when he gets put in that time capsule type thing, and next you know he comes out ripped as hell. I mean, oh my God. What's your take on Cap?
Well, my thought is, what is more American than steroids? We're just gonna pump you full of God knows what the hell the super soldier serum is. He goes from, what'd you say, a little 90-pound weakling to, he's quite impressive, I'll give him that. So, and even that, he's a little bit strange in that he shouldn't work. He's so bland, he's so vanilla, but somehow, he's awesome. Yeah. And at number 4, we have your favorite character, which I'll just let you go right on and talk about him, Thor.
Thor. I mean, Thor's a Norse god. I mean, that's the first thing that's just kind of weird about him. I mean, I love Thor. The first Thor movie is probably one of my favorite Marvel movies, because at first I had no idea who that man was, but once you see that movie, you're going, oh my gosh, it works. It's almost like he speaks like he's Shakespearean, he acts like a total doofus sometimes, and it's just a fun movie to watch. I mean, I think he's just strange because culturally he's out of it compared to where we are now. But what's your take on him? Yeah,
that's one of the things I really enjoyed about the first Thor film was that fish out of water experience. The scene that always sticks out in my head is when he's at the diner and he's just drinking, coffee? Just coffee after coffee. It's like, this is a great drink. I'll have another. It's just so great. He just doesn't get it. Even as recent as Age of Ultron, there's little comments he makes where, we should just go in and kill everyone, or we should just go, yeah, it's not quite how it works, Thor. So he's fun, he's entertaining, and I'm really looking forward to having him back. Coming in at number 3, we have the character of Ultron, who was introduced in Avengers: Age of Ultron. Now, this was a creation by Tony Stark and Bruce Banner in an attempt to bring peace to the world. We had the events of the Avengers, we had the events of Winter Soldier. This is, how did Tony Stark put it in the movie? When the aliens come up to the club, this is gonna be the bouncer?
Yeah.
Which, I might just use that analogy randomly in life, but Ultron's supposed to be, to an extent, an artificial intelligence version of Tony Stark. Which Tony Stark, he's normal in this universe, but he's a weird, strange, egotistical SOB. He really is. But Ultron only got one movie. He's the only villain we have on this list. But, Age of Ultron wasn't the best, but I enjoyed the character. So what's your thoughts on him, Ben?
I enjoyed the character as well. James Spader did a phenomenal job with that role, but I mean, when you start thinking about Ultron, it's just weird. You're not used to seeing an artificial intelligence robot like that, and so when you first see him as, that first scene when he's in the office on that fight, not the office, the Avengers Tower on that fight, and in that fight scene, he's creepy, he's old, he's raggedy, and then I think Thor finally throws his hammer or something like that happens, and next thing you know, you hear there ain't no strings on me.
And at number 2, we actually have a tie here, so there's 2 different characters we'll talk about. The first one is Vision. Vision was introduced just like Ultron in the Age of Ultron movie, and to show just how awesome this character is, to give, Thor we talked about earlier, he's got his hammer as his main weapon. Only if you're worthy can you lift that hammer. Vision is on screen for maybe 5 minutes, and he just lifts he lifts the hammer and just gives it right to Thor. And Age of Ultron wasn't my favorite Marvel movie, but holy crap. That was the moment I remembered from that movie. And Vision, he randomly grows a cape, he can fly, he's got the Infinity Stone, gemstone, whatever you want to call it, in his forehead. He tells us he doesn't know what it is. He doesn't even really understand what he is. but he's awesome. And I'll let you, what do you have to say about Vision, Ben?
Like you just said, he doesn't understand exactly what he is, but neither do we. When you're thinking about Vision, you're going, what the is this guy? I mean, this guy can lift Thor's hammer. By the way, that's one of my favorite scenes in that movie because Tony Stark and Thor are just like, their mouths are wide open going, holy cow, are you kidding me?
Along with the whole audience.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but like, he can fly, he has the Mind Stone in his head, which he doesn't completely understand. I mean, when you're watching that character, he sounds like Jarvis. You're like, oh, I like that guy. Next thing you know, you're going, oh, it's not Jarvis anymore. It's his own person, he's his own entity, but we don't know what's going to end up happening to him. And in the latest, Captain America, in the new movie, it seems like he kind of has the hots for the Scarlet Witch, but that's another topic we can discuss later.
That's gonna be so strange, because I'm not a comic reader, but one of my understandings is they do have a relationship in the comics. How is that gonna work? I mean, this is a Disney property. How are they going to go about this?
I don't know. I mean, the two are outcasts, so I mean, they have similarities.
Okay.
And I think that'll be where they're going to go with that one.
Okay. And moving on to the other character we have at number 2, we have this guy right here. We have Ant-Man, who was introduced in his solo standalone movie. What was it, 2014, I think? Sounds right.
Yeah.
And he was introduced in the Ant-Man movie. And let's just go over the concept of this character real quick. He can shrink down to the size of an ant. And when he's the size of an ant, he has the power of probably 2 or 3 men? Sure. That's the beginning of Marvel's, I think it started with Guardians, if I'm getting the timeline right, and then Ant-Man's like, we'll make anything. We can make anything and these people will pay for it. Now, I want you to be completely honest, Ben. Did you know of Ant-Man before the movie?
Heck no, I had no idea.
Okay, once you knew what the concept of Ant-Man was, how ridiculous did it sound?
It sounded ridiculous, but it had Paul Rudd, it had a good cast, and I was like, all right, I'm still going to see it, and that's how Marvel makes their money. I mean, like you said, that's when they really were like, all right, we can make money off of just about anything.
Definitely. And as we saw in Captain America Civil War, he's not only Ant-Man, he can be Giant Man, which all of Civil War was awesome. I enjoyed like 98% of that movie. When he went giant, I had the same reaction that Spider-Man had in that movie. Holy what just happened? So, and he's gonna be a fun character moving forward. Little things like him riding on Hawkeye's arrow, or cool. The scene where he's in Tony Stark's armor. It's like, hi, I'm your conscience, Tony. We haven't talked in a while. So Paul Rudd is the perfect guy for this character. Just so much fun. What do you hope to see moving forward, Ben?
Yeah, I mean, like with Paul Rudd, he's not the typical superhero figure you would see, but I think he nails it. It's kind of like Chris Pratt in Guardians. I mean, he brings humor to it. It's funny, but I mean, Ant-Man, I think they're gonna have fun in this direction with his character. He's gonna have another movie in, I think, the next 2 years. I can't remember when it is.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's gonna be with his girlfriend at
the Wasp?
Yeah, the Wasp. Pym's daughter.
Okay.
So that'll be interesting, but it'll be funny to see where they take this one.
All right, well, actually, a good little transition there. You brought up the Guardians of the Galaxy, so we'll move on to number 1. And at number 1 on our list, couldn't we really include all the Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah.
Gamora, Star-Lord, Drax, but we're going to have a package deal here at number 1. At number 1, we have Rocket Raccoon, and we have Groot. And I'm just going to let you take over, Ben, and talk about them a little bit.
I am Groot. No, but I love those two. I mean, it's just, you hear a talking raccoon with Bradley Cooper, and then Groot, who only says about 5 words in the whole movie, but he brings you to tears, he makes you laugh, it's funny, and he's pretty much a talking tree in what it seems like, but it's funny. Like, those two are weird on a different level. They're weird, but they work. Like Ant-Man and a lot of other Marvel characters. They're a little out there and they're weird, but Marvel gets them to work. And I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy was probably my favorite Marvel movie as a whole. Excuse me for that. And I just think that those two, like, if you start thinking about them, they're weird. But like, those two have had such a good chemistry in that movie. And what's your take on them?
I have to echo something you said where you believe it's your favorite Marvel movie. I go back and forth between that and Civil War, but I had so much fun with Guardians, and I walked out with a big old smile on my face.
The soundtrack was phenomenal. Oh my God.
Okay, go on Amazon, go to, I don't know, our CD shop still a thing?
Probably, who knows? I don't use it.
Sure, why not? Go to wherever you can buy CDs and listen to that soundtrack today. The characters, it's so much fun. You know, Groot. All he says is, I am Groot. And he says at the end, we are Groot. But you know what he's saying.
Yeah.
There's no question about what the situation is, what's going on. And Marvel gets their humor, you know, some people criticize them for being a bit too humorous, but I think they got it right, especially with Rocket Raccoon. One of my favorite lines in the movie is where they're all together for the first time. You know, I am Groot, I am Groot. It's like, I get it, I get it. And Rocket says, you know, his vocabulistics aren't as good as yours or mine, okay? Vocabulistics, sure. You know, but Rocket, again, talking raccoon, but you relate with him just in one small scene where he's getting changed and Bradley Cooper's character sees the work that's been done on him.
Yeah.
And then you move on to Groot, who sacrifices himself for the greater good of the team. But you know what we get as a result of that? We get Baby Groot.
Baby Groot, and in the trailer for the new movie, he looks even funnier. I mean, he looks so adorable. I do have to say, sorry for using the word adorable, but I mean,
don't be ashamed of the word adorable. Baby Groot is adorable, and guess it's gonna be the biggest toy next Christmas, you know, whatever. So
probably, without a doubt.
All right, well, that's been our top 5 strangest characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Thank you, everyone, for watching this edition of Gamecocks at the Movies. I'm Cody Guest.
And I'm Ben Parsons.
Check out Doctor Strange on November 4th.
But can we please talk about how the #1 song in America right now is
$350 billion. This guy. Keep on bragging.